Hello everyone, my name is Brian and welcome to this first Guardian Galore. In the Guardian Galore we'll take a look at every single Guardian, take a look at their abilities, how I like to build them, how I like to play them. Just kind of a tutorial type of video. Well, go a bit more in depth in every single ability, passive, etc, etc. So let's just start off immediately with Sobek. And we'll start off with his passive. Above his portrait you can see three oddly looking things in the circle. When I hit a basic or an ability, I will get one stack. I have a maximum of 3 stacks, and as you can see it is filled up at this point, and it is filled up now. What does this provide? It provides me 7 protections for 3 seconds, and it stacks up to 3 times, so you can get 21 protections for 3 seconds by just basic attacking or just using abilities to stack it up. It is a very good passive, especially early game. It provides a lot of protections and you kind of get it for free, so that's definitely something very good, and you can definitely use it to great effectiveness to make sure you don't take as much damage as you might. His first ability, you've already seen me use it defensively. It is a dash, his charge prey, his one ability. He will dash forward. He will stop on the first contact. That can be minion, that can be guard, that can be anything that you can deal damage to. Buff cams, fire giant, etc. Only not stopped by towers. Well, it is stopped by walls, etc. But it will kind of glide off to it if you do it on a tower. So. It deals damage on impact, it stuns them for a very brief moment. Well, it will pin them in place, and after that brief moment you will throw them behind you, basically throwing them into your team. And as you can see here, I use it on the Ra, immediately go into my ultimate. I'll get back to that one later, but throwing him in an awkward position, so perhaps my team can... Ooh, beautiful Ra snipe, utilizing the Xbalanque ultimate to its fullest extent. Is able to pick up me for first blood. So that's a bit unfortunate, but it will not deter me from trying to pull him again, because his sanctuary is down. So it will pull enemies. When you just pull someone, you have a very short immunity frame, where you can't be hit by anything. I think it's even less than half a second, or just half a second, so it's not too long, but it can definitely be very powerful. You are able to beat it, so when you get hit, there's the brief moment before he's throwing you backwards. If you beat at that moment, you won't be thrown away. This can be paired well with Nailish, for instance, because it is considered a knock-up. Actually catching the dash on the Xbalanque with my second ability, and that also brings me to my second ability, Tail Whip. He will spin around him with his tail and knock back any targets hit, and it will also deal damage. It knocked the Xbalanque before he was in the immunity part from his dash, so that made sure he wasn't able to complete his entire dash, resulting in his death. So plucking him, using my tail whip immediately to try and make sure that he is CC'd long enough. And as you can see, beautiful beats, that was what I was talking about, beautiful beats by the Zeus, is able to get out of my charge prey, but those purification beats, or that purification, will be down for now. His third ability is the one you see me max first. The reason for it is of course because it deals a good amount of damage. Easy to confirm, it is a cone attack. In this cone attack, everything that is hit will receive damage. Will receive a healing reduction buff for 50% for 4 seconds, which is great. Especially if you fight against healers like we are now against the Ra. If I use my 3 on him, his healing will be reduced by 50% for 4 seconds. Also, I can get healed for my, by using my 3. And I will get healed depending on the amount of targets I hit. Up to a maximum of 3 targets. So I can hit, if I can hit for instance 3 enemies or 3 minions or anything, I will get the full heal out of it. It is not an insane amount of heal, but it is a good sustain, definitely very useful. And his final ability is a very interesting one. It is his ultimate, lurking in the waters. So what will happen is he will go underwater. He is CC immune for the entire ult duration. He will stay underwater for 4 seconds. While he is in his ultimate, he will have 30% additional protections, which can be a lot if you build him quite tanky. As well as you get mana regen. You will regen mana over time, which is definitely very powerful if you have a low mana pool. That is not the case just yet with my build, but that's because I went for the cooldown reduction boots. As well as the hardware will provide me a lot of mana as well. So for the mana aspect, it's not really the best. Well, not that it's bad, but it isn't the thing I will use it for. Any enemy in range will be slowed. They will be slowed for 20%. Up to a maximum of 40% depending on the rank of your ultimate. So ranking up your ultimate can be very important. It will allow you to deal more damage with it as well. Because after those 4 seconds of initial ult, you'll be able to jump out and deal an insane amount of damage if you waited the full duration. If you can detonate it earlier, it will deal less damage, but it can make sure that you can actually confirm the damage. For instance, if someone's dash would come up, or they have sprint activated and can run out of your ult range, something like that. So that can definitely be very helpful. Bit off the mark with the pluck, but it doesn't matter too much. Beautiful Raijin ult, and we might be able to pick someone up. I use my sprint to make sure that Raijin is safe. We might be able to pick up the Ra, yes we are, but Raijin dies in return, a bit unfortunate. So he's a very interesting one. Sobek is pretty much, I displaced one of the opponents. I have my tail web to peel for myself and to displace the enemy even more. And with that I can guarantee a good amount of damage on him, especially if they don't have the best movement abilities. Like for instance the Zeus or the Ra. They don't have any mobility, so plucking them out of position is very effective altogether. One thing interesting to note, of course, if I use my pluck, it is also my only escape. So when I use it, when I will or can be in an awkward position, because of course I don't have an escape. Well, tanks aren't too tanky anymore with season 3, so you won't be able to survive for an insane amount of time, especially against a high burst lineup like they have with the Zeus, with the Ratatasker, as well as the Shibalanke. They have just an insane amount of damage. So if you miss the pluck, you can use your tail web to peel for yourself a bit, but that's about it. So, I'll go over the build a bit. I went for sprint as first item because the enemy doesn't really have any good CCs. The best CC they have is on their Chin Chan, but it is very difficult to confirm because the Chin Chan has such a long wind up time on the ultimate. So with the sprint I can guarantee my team to get out of the range before the ultimate goes off, and that will make sure that they will all stay safe. It also helps a lot against particular slows they might have. And I might die. Yes, that's unfortunate. I had a lot of stacks, a lot of charges on me. Is enough to finish me off. A bit unfortunate, but that won't deter us. Won't deter us at all. So the sprint will help out. They have slows. They have slow on every single god of them. Except for the Raijin. Not the Raijin. The Chin Chan. Chin Chan doesn't have any slows. But other than that, they definitely have... Actually, he has. He has the weakening curse. So, kinda has slows. But that's fine. So, it helps against the slows. I went for a second relic, Shell. Very powerful against Zeus. Very powerful against high burst gods. And they kinda rely on it a lot. So, those are the relics I went for. I went for cooldown reduction boosts for the additional mana. Uses a lot of money, especially early games. So, getting those online early will help out a bunch. I like them a lot because I like to use my abilities a lot more as well. As you can see, going for the pluck again. Good amount of damage on me as well. You saw that they turned on me instantly. But I do have some defenses at this point, so they can't deal too much of damage to me. And I am of course able to heal myself up and get the additional protections with my abilities or with a basic. Again, going for the pluck on the Ra. Ra does use his Sanctuary, but nice weight on the Raijin and an insane amount of damage. As you can see, the ultimate is definitely doing a lot of damage. Might be able to go for the rat. Ooh, our rat has gone for the rat. Actually, Purification Force on the Zeus. Definitely worth it. And as you can see, It has such a long charge up time. I am not even blocked at that point while I was in the range for a long time. It's a very odd ultimate. I think they shouldn't have made it so long, but that's fine. So, cooldown reduction boots, additional mana, just great altogether. All his abilities deal damage as well, so getting more cooldown on it as well as a bit of power will definitely help you out a lot. After that I went for a hardwood immediately because they do have the Zeus as well as the Ra, a good amount of burst damage. So getting that protection aura online is just something I like to do on most of the Guardians. To just make sure that if you have the team fights, you can keep your team safe just a little bit better. The third item I went for is Sovereignty. Sovereignty, the same deal with the hardwood, only then for the physical. Also gives some healing over time. A bit of HP 5. So not the world, but it can definitely help you out. After that, I will go for a breastplate just for the cooldown reduction. Cooldown, like I said, cooldown reduction. I really like it a lot on Sobek. And as you can see, plucking him out of position instantly evaporated this Zeus. And as you can see, that's the power of Sobek. Getting someone out of position easily. And the Ra is picked up as well. So just insane amount of displacement on him. The more you hit your plucks, the better. And can definitely help you to get those kills you need in your team. And if they aren't able to pick you up, then it's definitely always worth it to go for the pluck. Unless, of course, you pluck it into your team when someone is extremely low HP. Then you might not want to pluck them into your team. Or, for instance, if you pluck, I don't know, an Ares into your team. Don't do that. They will hate you for it. Kind of makes sense because, well, it's a free initiation. You don't want to give enemies free initiations. So, this game. It's going pretty well. Almost the best support slash line you can have. I have a 0, 3 and 17. 3 deaths, not something I would want to, of course, but having 17 assists on 18 kills, I think that is definitely very good. And again, blocking someone out of position is definitely something that's very powerful. If you hit, that's something I feel like with Sobek. If you have an off day where you miss a lot of your plucks, almost every single one, then you will have a rough time because it's all about the plucks, getting the enemies in your team to allow your team to deal just a good amount of damage to them, finish them off, and rinse and repeat. Just try to pluck the gods without a good escape out of position, and also with the tail web you can displace them pretty well as well. It has a knock-up. Not too worried about the Zeus ultimate, but I do take a lot of damage for it, and nice sanctuary from the Ra will actually prevent any more damage from... Ooh, that's a lot of... No, dang it. I should have just retreated back to base. Going for the heal in the Ra heal beam was a bit too risky. Turned out, of course. But I guess it will be fine. So, I do need a little bit more magical protection. Bulwark of Hope, very good choice. Voidstone is very good as well. And even though it would help my team a lot, I do want to get a bit more HP online, as well as the additional shield when I'm low in HP. This will probably allow me to survive Zeus a little bit better. Especially with the CC reduction out as well. I can't be rooted as long or stunned by the Ratatoskr. Because this is already the new Ratatoskr, the reworked one. The one that's dumb. Actually, the last one was dumb for a long time as well, but damn, they shouldn't have reworked him this way. But this is not the time to talk about that. This is the time to talk about Sobek. So Sobek has been here for a long time, and one of the most famous combos in the days of old has been the Artemis Sobek lane. The Artemis trap is, well, the pluck of Sobek is followed up by the Artemis trap, and it's just an insane amount of CC duration and has been a very good combo for the entirety of the game. I am able to secure the Zeus, making sure that my team at least gets the credit for it. Dash from the Xbalanque will confirm the kill on me, so that's a bit unfortunate, but it looks like Ratatoskr might be able to pick... No, that's unfortunate. Okay, doesn't matter. It is fine. We're still ahead by a bit. Not too much. It can definitely turn on both ways. But as you can see, Raijin really doing a lot of work in these engagements. Is able to follow up on my plucks a lot. And has just an insane amount of burst. The change on Raijin with his dash is probably the most important one when they buffed him. because of course you can now dash away without being CC'd into oblivion, interrupting every single of your potential escapes. Wanted to go for the Zeus. He cleared it way too fast, can't really follow up. Would have been way too deep for my team to follow up as well. I will try and defend this buff. Not with my life, of course, but I can try to defend it somewhat. Never mind. Not really looking for that fight with the Zeus. Even though I do have a good amount of magical protection, he has, of course, the Obsidian Shard. And just a good amount of damage altogether, because, well, it's Zeus. Use my ultimate to zone a bit. Might be able to do some damage, as you can see. Actually, a lot of damage. I don't have any power items. I might die for it. I definitely die for it. I displaced Zeus, though, and he is still picked up, so I guess it's kind of worth it. Of course, it's better if you survive, but getting Zeus killed is very important in these engagements, because he can deal an insane amount of damage if he gets the opportunity. And you definitely don't want to give Zeus the opportunity to deal a lot of damage. You definitely don't want to do that. So, Sobek isn't much of a peeler. He can peel, of course. He has his tail whip. He can pluck someone off of a teammate. That's something you can do as well. You've seen me use it more as an engage tool. Bit off the mark, that's unfortunate. But actually catching his dash, but my team can't really follow up. He's more of an engager. He's not really too much of a peeler. Of course, he has the slow on his ultimate, which 40% is pretty decent for 4 seconds. And also, most people don't want to stand in his ultimate because of the damage it does. It deals about 600 damage and I only have power on my shoes, which is also not a lot. As well as just damage altogether with all of his abilities. Every single of his abilities deal damage, and that's not something you see on a lot of Guardians. But it's definitely very powerful. As you can see, good amount of damage. Don't have my pluck, can't really pull him. But Chin Chen is zoning out my team as well. But like I said, he is not too much of an peeler. He has his tail whip, he has his charge spray, he has his slow. So it's more than nothing, but still too much single target focused in my opinion to make him the real Guardian. Sprint as well as shell popped. Raijin was stuck in the ultimate from Zeus as well as I was. This will allow him to get away as well as me. And ooh, late beats on the or late purification on the Zeus. And Raijin immediately takes this opportunity to finish him off. Nice. We'll probably just retreat. He might chase me, but I have a decent amount of health. I'm not too worried. Making sure that he can't heal as much. And Ras picked up as well. The healing reduction is just insane. Also pushed him out of his heal. And that's something Sobek is all about, the displacement with the tail whip, with the charge spray. In that way he has a lot of control and he's all about the setups. And I like to set up with him a lot. I used to play him a lot when I played a lot of Conquest. And I definitely like the combination with Artemis. Blocking someone into a Artemis trap, or you just block him and Artemis lays down a trap where they are going to land. It's very powerful. It's a long CC. As you can see, a bit of a Guardian slap battle. The famous Guardian slap battle. And again, picking up Zeus. Oh my god, that is so much damage on the Raijin. I might be able to pick him up. Just one more basic, 2 more basics. Nice. Able to pick up that last final kill. What? Plucking someone into that Raijin burst is just insane. And Zeus used his purification late the last time, so I knew if I could get him, it was guaranteed. I'm not sure if he had Sanctuary. But I guess he didn't. Or it wasn't up anymore. But we were able to pick up the victory. And as you can see, actually, if you look at the damage chart, actually a good amount of damage on me as well. Only Raijin a lot more, but I actually have more damage than our Xbalanque. And that's also telling a lot. He has a lot of damage, of course, because every single ability deals damage. And since I was part of so many of the kills, I was part of 26 out of 30 kills, which is a lot. Raijin part of 28, so he did a little bit better job than I did. And he died a little bit less, but I like to think that my setups were pretty good. And that's something what Sobek is all about. But sometimes you do need to be a bit careful when you do it and who you try to pull. You saw me look for Ra and Zeus a lot because they are very immobile gods. They don't have an escape. They only have the raw damage or the just straight up heal or slows. Ratatoski would have been an option as well because you can body block his dash. So that's an option. As well as Xbalanque. Just any squishy, pulling any squishy into a Raijin mass Raiju combo is just straight up nuts. So I hope you guys learned something about Sobek the Guardian. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you have any suggestion on what Guardian to take a look at next, please let me know. And as always, good luck, have fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.